Let's head on to business and immigration law updates. This will be presented here by Mr. Ramesh Khurana, who is the Chief Attorney and Counselor at Immigration Law at the Khurana Law Firm. This firm is located in Gaithersburg, Maryland. On this set, the moderator is Attorney Kenneth Haber from Boyd's, Maryland. This week, Attorney Haber questions Attorney Khurana on the advanced issues for an immigrant petition. Let's have a look.
Hello, my name's Kenneth Haber. I'm a former Assistant United States Attorney and a former Senior Attorney from the Office of Inspector General of the United States Department of Health and Human Services. That's the Medicare cops. And with us in the studios today is Ramesh Khurana. Welcome, Ramesh.
Thank you, Ken.
Ramesh is an extremely well-known immigration attorney who has helped people across the country and across the world with their immigration concerns, and he's here in the studios today to talk to us about a topic that is of interest to people and concern to people, and he's here to illuminate on that, and that is the abandonment of green cards. Ramesh, what is the concept of abandonment of a green card?
Ken, whenever people are granted green cards, which we call lawful permanent legal status, they think that now they are safe in the United States in terms of their wishes, staying here or staying in their home countries. Now, that is a myth. Now, they should be very well aware that once you are granted a green card, that means your intent is to stay permanently in the United States. It's not that you just come here for a few weeks or few months and go back to your country and then don't show up for months and months. Now, let me tell you, technically, people have this feeling like if you keep on coming once in a year, you are good. Now, that's not true. Now, technically, it is linked to your intent. If you have decided today that you don't want to stay in the United States and you want to go back and spend more time in your country, technically, you have abandoned your green card.
So it's basically a concept of residency, where you plan to make your permanent home.
Yes. So if you are given a green card, that means you intend to stay here. This mostly happens in respect of the parents. Parents want to spend more time in their home countries, but their children, sons and daughters who are living in the United States, they think because of their age, either they are not safe in India, or why should they be staying separately from sons and daughters when the entire family has moved. But parents don't want to come because they want to spend time with their friends and other extended family members, and they want to move around and smell their own land and eat those things which they used to eat since ages. So it's a kind of conflict between the wishes of the parents and the wishes of the kids. So finally, kids succeed in persuading their parents that why don't you come here? They file the green card, they are given the green card. But as soon as they get the green card, they want to go back. And this is how they get in trouble. I give you one example. There is one lady, now she was coming first of all after 8 months, 9 months every year. And once she was coming to the Dallas airport, right here in our neighborhood, after 5.5 months, she was stopped at the airport. And she was told by the CBP officer that your intent is not to stay in the United States. I have looked at your record, and she was subjected to an interview where all these questions were asked. What you are doing in India, how many times you have come, and when are you returning to India? Because people purchase their return tickets. Oh, I am returning after 4 weeks. So what does it mean? You don't intend to stay here. This is not your home. your home still continues to be in India. And she was issued an NTA. NTA is notice to appear. That means notice to appear before the immigration judge. They asked her to surrender her passport and the green card. It took me 1.5 years to get her green card and passport back, and that was also after proving to the satisfaction of the immigration judge that the intent of this person is to stay in the United States, and her extended stay outside United States was just temporary in nature, and all along she had intended to stay here. That was the burden of proof, and finally we were successful. So that is the significance of having the proper intent, and apply for your green card only when you really want to stay in the United States. Otherwise, try visitor visa. Visitor visa, because of reciprocity between India and United States, is given for 10 years. Every year you can come, or twice a year depending upon your situation. Come, stay here for 3 months, 4 months depending upon the authorized stay. When you come to the airport, consular officer asks you a question. How much time do you want to stay? He will say maybe 2 months, 3 months. So this is within the sound discretion of the CBP officer at the airport, whether he or she is permitting 3 months or 6 months. By statute, you can be permitted maximum up to 6 months. So you can stay within the authorized stay in the United States. So come and go back. So on a tourist visa, you don't have to worry that your green card will be considered abandoned. This is what I would recommend.
And if it was considered abandoned, then that causes you difficulty in terms of re-entry?
Like you are stopped at the port of entry, like I gave one real example of a lady returning after 5.5 months. Like she had to surrender her passport and her green card, and it took her 18 months to get it back, and then she had to spend a lot of money because the 3 appearances before the immigration judge were required. And other thing they do is, like they will give you an option. Whenever a green card holder comes at the airport, it is like making an application to be admitted. Every time you come, you make an application for admission. This is the legal term in immigration sense. So they will give you an option. Do you want to withdraw your application for admission? And if the person says, no, my intent has been to stay in the United States, my family is here, they will say, okay, but we don't think so. Your intent has been to stay in the United States. So give us your green card and passport. Immigration judge will decide. So if you withdraw your application, then you are asked to leave by the next flight. It's a very difficult situation.
Yeah, you could have a business back in India and a business in the United States. And then
Right.
you want to live in the United States because you like it better, but you need to spend time in India.
Right. So before you make an informed decision to apply for the green card versus visitor visa, please evaluate your situation very well. I would advise the audience, please talk to an experienced immigration lawyer who can advise you. Don't think that you come in once in 12 months and you are okay. You are not okay. You are really not okay if your intent is to stay outside the United States.
If a person cannot stay continuously in the United States for a significant period of time, then what's his best alternative path?
Yeah. As we discussed in response to the first question, the best course would be to surrender your green card if you have already been granted a green card, and there is a procedure to surrender the green card. And once you have surrendered the green card, that doesn't mean that you will be given a visitor visa, but I would think chances are you would be given, because you are voluntarily giving up the green card. And once you have voluntarily given up your green card because you think that your intent is to stay in your country, that means if you apply for a visitor visa, your non-immigrant intent is there. and visitor visa is meant only for those people who have non-immigrant intent. So you are a good candidate, and the chances are you will not be denied if you apply for a visitor visa.
You know, people just don't really appreciate what they have in their U.S. citizenship. Here's somebody wants to have his family in the United States and say he has a business in India and he has a business in the United States, and he's dependent upon some guy at the border deciding whether or not he should be able to come back and forth because of the fact that he wants to be a mind reader.
Right, that's right, yeah.
Yeah.
So, in fact, he reads the mind of the person based on his actions. And actions means what he has been doing during the last several months or last few years. Like, you know, there are various factors which can be looked into. If a person is employed here, that means his intent is to stay, one of the factors. There are so many other factors as well.
Why is it so important for him to surrender his green card if he is in that type of limbo of wanting to be both places?
Very good question. Because you should not be thinking that your green card continues to be valid. Let us say that you have stayed outside the United States for 13 months and you are still holding a green card. Your green card is still valid because green card is issued for 10 years, maybe 8 more years are to go before it expires. Though it is an unexpired green card, but because of your long stay in your home country, you have basically abandoned it. You have basically abandoned it. So in that kind of situation, probably the best solution is to go back to the US Embassy in your country, and you have to apply for the returning resident status, which is called SB1, S as a Sam, B as a boy, -1, SB1 status. What does it mean? When you make your application to the US consulate abroad, they will interview you. And based on the interview, consular officer will make a determination whether you abandoned your green card or not, or what was your initial intent and what has been your intent. Let us say that you visit India and you have a problem with your siblings because of land dispute or some other property dispute, and your siblings file a complaint with the police, and your passport is impounded by the police authorities because they have initiated a criminal action against you, and you cannot leave the country and you cannot come back to the United States because you do not have the passport. So in that kind of situation, basically it is beyond your control. If you can prove to the satisfaction of the consular officer that you have overstayed simply because it was beyond your control, then you may be issued a returning resident status.
Well, that's helpful.
Yeah.
Would it be possibly helpful if a person were to renounce the prior citizenship, not the United States, but the other one, but then be able to come back and forth quicker, easier?
Yeah. Citizenship renouncing is only possible when you apply for the citizenship, let's say Indian citizen, and you apply for US citizenship and you apply for Indian card, then you have to renounce your Indian citizenship. But green card, yes, you should surrender if you don't intend to stay here.
Well, I'd like to thank you very much for coming in and helping clarify this concept. I'm sure it's of extreme interest to people who have families in both communities and have to deal with these type of issues.
I agree with you. Don't apply for green cards for your parents if they really don't intend to stay here. Thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you.